We got to tee it up for a second here because Boda just goes right into the run here. So this is the world's first max fear clear for Hades 2. 55 fear is the current max. That means you have no death defiances. You don't have additional max health from the Arcana cards. You have no Arcana cards, just to be clear. But in case you don't know what those do, they give you things like rerolls, make boons more rare, can give you some max health, some max magic, gives you death defiances. All that stuff's off. It's all off. It's similar to like routine inspection from Hades 1, if you don't know. It has been done, though. 50 fear has been cleared quite a few times by players, included Boda by many, many times. And that was simply with everything on except for the Arcana card thing. Now, it's been talked about a lot, and it's been, assumed that this was definitely in the plausible states of how hard it is. But it was sort of a question, is anyone mad enough to really go through with it? It's definitely not the same RNG grind that 64 heat is in Hades 1. Or Hades 1 was. It is not the equivalent. But then again, also, we are probably going to get more vows that will increase the difficulty for Hades 2 throughout early access, or at least by the time 1.0 lands, right? So we're going to play the video, but I'm probably going to be pausing on a regular basis. If you want to just watch the whole run, please click the link, go check out Boda's run, give them a like, leave them a comment, etc. Maybe to signify we sent you over there, ask if Boda knows that Frog can block Hecate's Hex, you know what I mean? But yeah, if you don't want to see this without pauses, please go support Boda. I did give it his permission to watch it here, but yeah, we're going to be pausing a lot, and we're not going to be able to hear his commentary as much. This is definitely going to be, I'm going to talk about it from a more casual perspective here, and just kind of like a beginner, if you're curious, like what's going on with like really high fear runs. So this is with aspect of Thanatos for the axe. It just has a massive AoE, and you're really just using the attack the whole time here, is my understanding. Boda is starting with Hera's keepsake, so that he can hopefully get the attack boon from Hera, which will apply Hitch to the enemies. Hitch is just really powerful for clearing large swarms of enemies quickly, and is like super necessary for something like that. You know what I mean? That's definitely the reasoning why, more than anything. I don't think Boda really had big duo boons in mind. It's really about just knocking out these enemies as quickly as possible, collecting the revenants, etc. It's not a complex build by any stretch, right? For sure. Since the Onion Vow is on, the first chamber had nothing, and so you gotta wait before you can actually get a boon from Hera, but it doesn't use up the God Keepsake, so you definitely still use it to make sure you get something there. Yeah, one of the big things is that Boda is going to be using the block, the special, really, really well throughout the entire run. Like, just block, like right there, block the projectile from an enemy in the middle of like all of the crazy stuff that's going on here. Mouse and keyboard user too, as you can see. So, pretty insane. Throwing down an Omega cast right there as well. Just to get that extra damage in while you wait for the enemy's spawn. Doesn't happen that often, but yeah, it's really just about utilizing the attack, blocking enemy hits, which is just so hard to do, to use the block well in this game. It's so hard. It's ridiculous. And, like, this is the first I've seen someone use it to such an extreme degree and actually, stop things from getting hit. What are we going to take here? Because I haven't watched the whole run. I only saw, like, little tiny snippets. But I was kind of aware. Okay, so faster channel speed. I'm guessing Boda just took the thing that doesn't really hurt there. So, the dash. The hobble thing there that uses magic when you dash just doesn't really matter that much. We got Artemis from here, which is really important, because that's going to pause the timer in the top right. And the timer is obviously a massive issue, just like it was in Hades 1 at really high levels of difficulty. It is I don't know if you can really say it's like the hardest thing about it. I mean, everything about this is just incredibly difficult. You have 30 max health. You have no death defiances other than the one that the cat gives you, the companion, which means that you don't get more max health instead, right? But so while there is an RNG grind here, it's not like Hades 1 where you got reduced boon options. You don't have any rolls. So if you didn't get Hera's attack there, I assume Boda would probably just start over at that point, right? If I were to guess. You got to use the cat, I'm assuming, because just like you have one hit at 30 health, I assume like you just kind of got to go take the thing that's going to help you a little bit more. It seems like at 50 fear, people like the frog a little bit more. That's what I've been using too. But yeah, big anxiety here, especially when everything hits you. The first time you get hit in every chamber is 4 times the damage. It's absolutely insane, isn't it? Absolutely insane. Hey, Zang. So yeah, lucky chambers here because we got Artemis, what pauses the timer. Arachne pauses the timer. It took a Chaos Gate that was able to skip combat too, which pauses the timer, quote unquote. Any time that you can skip combat and do a different style chamber is just practically mandatory. I would say it is 100% mandatory here. We got a mini boss going on here. So I'm going to guess from Zeus. Probably the cast would be what's wanted the most here. Look at that block. It's beautiful, huh? Not a lot of single target damage right now. But, wow, interesting. You felt the need to run around there like that. You can feel like the lack of single target right now. The hammers are going to be a really big deal, right? I don't know what Boded gets here for the hammers, but I would say that Rapid Slash is probably the #1 pick. Unless it's something interesting. Like, is it I don't think you could really go into Whirlwinds. Yeah, there's just you can't really rely on magic or anything like that. Hey, Zyru. God, the blocks are crazy. The Revenants suck so bad. Having to pick up these enemies, otherwise they respawn, is just insanity. You know. So while you don't have to grind out the RNG as much to get a run started, like you did in Hades 1, the room RNG feels harder. The timer is tighter in this game than it is in Hades 1, because there's more fears that impact the timer than Hades 1, kind of. I mean, I don't know. In a general sense, that is kind of true. I feel like the timer in general is much tighter in Hades 2 than Hades 1. So while you don't need as many components as you did in Hades 1, you didn't need like 3 or 4 extremely specific boons. You kind of just need like 1 or 2, and you'll do okay. Just avoiding to take these massive hits at the start of a chamber just seems so daunting. You know what I mean? Now that Boded has actually some armor here, you know, he can afford a hit or 2 here and there, but it's just gonna be, for a while, it's just like 1 hit away from death at all times, depending on what hits you. You know what I mean? So yeah, this is like a striking difference. Like, look at that block. That's crazy. Just how much that was able to avoid. That precision with the block is just wild. Not just with the timing, but also the placement. You know, makes me wonder. Like, mouse and keyboard might have to reign supreme here a little bit. But yeah, the hitch effect going strong. Probably wants to active. Wait, no, origination doesn't matter because there's no Arcana cards. Here we go. We got a hammer. This is actually the last one too. There's Rapid Slash. Okay, so Rapid Slash is the take. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we kind of knew, I guess. But yeah, just being like 1 or 2 hits away from the end of the run is just wild. Hecate is a hard fight. You know, this is... I actually do think... Oh, man, lost that armor early on. Oh, my God. Scary. Oh, the block's coming out. I didn't realize you could cast the block like that quickly there, too. Ooh, down to 4 health right now. I do think Hecate is actually a surprisingly difficult fight at a very high fear. Usually I worry more about the Hecate fight than I do about like the Siren fight personally. Especially since the Sirens kind of like, I don't know, that it just seems like relative, like the health pools don't feel as high. I wouldn't be shocked if Hecate gets like the knockdown at some point or something like that. I mean, I knew you couldn't block this Hex, but I wondered if there was like a trick that I wasn't aware of here. Like blocking it with the special for the axe. If you don't know what aspect of Thanatos does, I should probably say, it increases your attack speed by 30% at the base, right? Is the big thing. You do technically build up stacks of what they call mortality, which makes it so your Omega moves have a crit chance. I'm not able to use Omega moves here basically ever, or almost never. So that factor doesn't really matter. It's just the attack speed increase that you really need. All right, 13 seconds saved in Erebus. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm scared already. I mean, we know the outcome, but I'm actually scared. So it's either Hephaestus's keepsake to try to get some defensive boons, Or do you go straight for the pin? You have no rolls. Can't get back rolls. He thought about it. He thought about it. Took the move speed. Okay. He thought about it. So he's going for Hephaestus's keepsake. Probably hoping for mint condition, which makes you invulnerable for a certain amount of time at the beginning of every encounter. Or trusty shield, which gives you armor at the beginning of every location. And armor is incredibly strong. Especially armor that you get back every chamber. At high fears. Because armor will block overkill damage, I guess is the best way to put it. So if you have just one armor on yourself, and an enemy hits you for 100, which is definitely possible at this high of a fear, with the damage multipliers going on, you will only take that one damage and lose the armor only. It will not overkill you. Similar to how enemies' armor will also not get overkilled if you deal a huge chunk of damage to them. You know, the armor will fall off, and then you have to keep hitting them, basically. Oh boy. That is just a clusterfuck. This kind of chamber is the one I really worry about with the hippos? I always forget what they're called here. These enemies that have this death rattle that makes them explode, and they fire these triple homing projectiles at you, they're just an absolute nightmare. They're so hard to deal with. Making sure the revenants get picked up. Okay. That was scary. Yet it was handled so fluidly. Interesting choice. It's too bad both of these got offered, right? Because you'd want them to be offered sequentially, so that way you can get both, and you'll get a timer pause in each chamber, right? For surezies. Kind of surprised by the Poseidon take here. Ugh, not much of use, right? Again, no rolls. Only a little bit of money. Was that a double up? No way. No way. Doubling up out here at 55 fear? No way. Oh, I hate the serpent. I hate the serpent. So, yeah, you can see the blocks on those melee attacks. Oh my god, that's insane. In hindsight, go Narc, save money, skip Poseidon. I mean, but what were we hoping for? Hydraulic Might, probably. Is that what we're hoping for from Poseidon? If I were to guess? Because nothing else really does anything I can think of. So that gets onioned. But luckily, oh, thank God, right? So that was the first boon besides the one received in the shop. Ooh, I have an interesting question here that I'm not sure about. Ooh, this chamber looks terrible. Some enemy encounters are just really annoying because of how spread out they are. So the onion eats up the first boon that appears naturally. If you buy one from a shop, it does not count. If you get the reward from Narcissus, that is a random boon, which is something that Narcissus can offer in that encounter, would that eat up the onion? And therefore, would that be a wise choice there, potentially? Because you want to use up the onion ahead of time. Chefs, what's up? Thank you for the 31 months. It does not get onion. Oh, okay, I wasn't sure about that. Okay, so that didn't matter for that purpose then. But yeah, it's very scary here because the mini-boss reward got onioned. The boon got turned into onion, but luckily Boded still got Hephaestus offered on a door afterwards, despite no rolls or anything like that. I should say, the run started right away, and I meant to address this much earlier, but I guess now's a better time. Yo, Trusty Shield, that's the best thing you can get that right there. So that is basically a free hit every chamber that you can take now. That's huge. That's huge right there. Oh, Asphodel, interesting. Probably just going to leave here if I were to guess. No way you do this, right? Because it takes forever. The elephant in the room is that there was no death shown at the start of this run. Boded said that basically you weren't really planning to get a win or anything like that. It was really just for fun, so you just kind of like, you know, were starting and stopping recording and things like that, right? So while, you know, we can't verify that this is an unseeded run, this kind of gets into the weeds of how the Hades games work with seeds and everything like that. The best we can say, it's pretty clear that there's no attempt at RNG manipulation going on. If there was RNG manipulation happening, then it would be usually quite obvious. Like a player would perform weird actions in between the chambers. And while this might make you ask, oh, why do we bother to show deaths anyway, then if that's the case? It's just like, well, you know, you're welcome to choose to believe if this is real or not, you know. Based on my personal expert opinion, you know, I mean, it's not like the RNG is totally outlandish for what's happening here. You know, there's some good things, there's some bad things going on. throughout the run. It doesn't look like there's any sort of manipulation whatsoever in between the chambers. Usually what happens is if you are manipulating RNG, you will perform certain very odd actions after a door unlocks in order to make sure certain things occur after that is the best way I can describe it. You know, I don't really care if you believe it or not. I am choosing to believe this is a faithful run. It is complete. 55 fear is done. I don't think we're going to get like 55 fear leaderboards anytime soon or anything like that. But yeah, it is unfortunate that we didn't get it just to kind of like put some people at ease about it though. You know what I mean? Yeah, if you got like a longer video voted, maybe you could just list it in the description. Like a longer version. I don't know. Ooh, more hef would be amazing here. So Nemesis is good. Nemesis also pauses the timer. We got an epic mint condition now as well. Which means you are invulnerable for the first 12 seconds of the fight, I think, at epic. So not much to really say here about the Sirens, at least for the start. Ideally, you would knock down Jetty before she escapes. Otherwise, you can try to just hope that she comes back to you, which she did here, luckily. But yeah, you just don't really know what she's going to do. Sometimes she gets stuck on the terrain or just decides to hang out like somewhere else, you know? But yeah, so I guess, yeah, maybe one question is why aspect of Thanatos? It just seems like it's a simple yet strong aspect where you don't need a lot of different components to make it really good. So aspect of Charon for the axe is very highly favored right now in large portions of the community. Oh wow, taking it nice and slow here. Because Charon has a very high top end for the damage, the possible damage output. However, you kind of do need a lot of different things to make it work. You know, you need magic regen, and you need need a cast boon, then you need special, and even then, like, there's only a couple of very good hammers. One is like exceptionally good. Maybe rapid slash is just as good here, but yeah, Charon really struggles early on with the timer for sure, right? 55. Sirens fight on 55 is the hardest fight in the game. No kidding, huh? Wow, that's interesting. I would not have guessed that, but yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, we're all gonna have to pick up how to block for sure here. Hey, reminder, please check out Boded's video. I have a command out there. If you're watching this on YouTube, we'll have a link in the description. Please check it out. Make sure he knows that, you know, the frog can block the Hecate Hex. Show some support over there. Also, Boded uploads Hades content, the regular. Great Hades content creator. Highly recommend if you want someone who's actually good at Hades. And someone, instead of someone just like talking about grills and stuff. I mean, we're on to the Morning Fields. So the Morning Fields is kind of special in the sense that it's very much so what I usually describe as on rails. It's pretty strict what happens in the Morning Fields. You get a regular chamber with either 2 or 3 rewards offered, like what we see right now at the start. Ooh, a couple of ding-dong hits there that, yeah, got kind of pinballed a bit there. It's scary. We do have the pin on, though, this time. So Moros's pin is out. I'll talk about that in a second. So there's definitely a bit of safety involved here in terms of the hits that you can take now, at least. Oh, double up! Yo, let's go! Okay, so Morning Fields, you usually get a regular chamber with 2 to 3 rewards. Then you get a mini-boss, another double up. Then you get a mini-boss. Then you get Echo. Then you get a regular chamber with 2 to 3 rewards, too. If you're lucky, you'll only get 2 rewards that you need to gather for these regular chambers. Wonder why chose to stop and kill that guy just so it didn't cause a problem, I'm guessing. Very little max health still, by the way. Only 55. And now forced to take this max magic here. So yeah, the Morning Fields, things don't really change unless you go off the beaten path. Like if you choose not to fight the mini-boss and go to a regular chamber, or if you take a Chaos Gate that's offered, which you have to buy the spark for from a Well of Charon. So that's not going to happen like naturally. Like Chaos Gates don't show up naturally here in Morning Field. So it's a very strict biome in the chambers that you'll often get if you just follow the path that I described. So yeah, here we're forced into a mini-boss, and you would always take Echo after the mini-boss just because it pauses the timer and it skips a whole chamber as well. So you just don't have an option here to do anything besides that. Once Echo gets offered, also you can't, she will not be offered again if you turn her down. Same with every other event room in the game, but yeah. So you cannot turn those things down, including mid-shops in the biomes. Okay, so there's the onion cleared out. So Morris's pin, it sets your health back to 60, if you don't know. Okay, if your health drops to 0, it sets your health back to 60, counts down from 10. If you clear the encounter... What do we got here? Evade, evade, evade. Yeah. If you clear the encounter before that 10-second countdown, then you will get to keep that 60 health, and you do not lose your Death Defiance and or die, is the best way I can describe it. So you are invulnerable for those 10 seconds, which is really nice. For sure, Z's. It's incredibly strong keepsake. It is easily the best thing for really high fear. It is a way to get back health, because normally, right, you have the 0 healing vow on here, so you cannot recover health normally. But there's a lot of weird things in Hades 2 right now. Where there's some things are healing when they probably should not be. Like there's certain items from the Charon Well that will actually heal you, like Breath of Arrows and Preservation, Hope Preservation. I always forget what it's fully called here. Holy crap, look at the size of this encounter right now, right? There's just so many enemies, and you can't even see how. How do you do it, though? Woo, okay. Preserved Hope, thank you. So that those things do heal for some reason, even with the vow that normally makes it so you only have 0 healing. Not certain why it's been overlooked for so long. I'm sure it's been reported dozens of times at this rate. Kind of a long chamber here, or encounter, though. But yeah, the Morris Pin does work for every single enemy encounter in Morning Field, so... Oh, no, you're not gonna... No, you don't do Hell Splitter. You do Hell Splitter?
It's just really bad, but for our bossing, it's really good.
Really?
These guys are too close. I kind of have to kill them.
No way. No way. No way.
But I need all the resources I can get.
Saved the run?
Too mad about it.
Okay, I was not guessing that. So now every single big attack besides the dash attack, every single normal attack besides the dash will actually be just like the giant combo hit that's usually at the end of the normal attack combo. So it's like one big AoE hit. Wow, so you think this was actually necessary to win the run? I am shocked. Yeah, it's definitely better with Rapid, I would think, but I'm still surprised here overall. I would guess, I didn't see what the other options are, honestly. I don't remember. So you obviously, you can't do anything with Whirlwind because all the magic's primed. It's gone. It's done. Right? But I would have guessed, like, maybe, I don't know, Unyielding Slash. I don't even know if it was offered there or anything, but maybe you would have gone for that instead. But yeah, I would be way too cowardly to take that hammer. Because, I don't know, you'd have to get, like, really used to it, right? Golden Rule? Yo. I doubt that was planned at all. Are you actually going to buy something here? But Golden Rule. So Golden Rule gives you a little bit of a DPS increase here. Chose to still buy some stuff here. Mint condition would be spicy. 2 more seconds on it is still quite nice here. Thanatos Axe struggles a lot with damage towers. Health Splitter with a strong percent damage attack wound gives it the damage needed to clear. Yeah, so a power is very highly desired in the games because it increases your base damage, which means that your attack wounds are going to perform better too at that point. So it's without getting into the weeds of the math, basically you want like a balance of attack percentage up, like from the Hera attack wound here, and plus power on that attack as well. You would want like a healthy balance of both if you can somehow increase both. How far you should go out of your way just really depends on many different things right now. So, Serby, not really much to say about the Serbs here, I think. You just gotta hope you don't get really annoying ads, I think. And those ads were actually quite convenient overall, I think. Golden Rule is so bad you just buy things through it. It definitely got majorly nerfed. I mean, does it even help like hitch damage? It's supposed to be global. Supposedly it got fixed. Still got out of it. Pin is not used yet. So definitely looking healthy here. So this is a point where Cerberus, this is a really annoying move for Cerberus to do because you usually just gotta wait for it to go there. Wow, the timer's still really tight too.
Good man. There we go. Turret entry, baby. Let's go.
There we go. Minute 31 still. Minute 31 to the name. Wow. Wow. That's just not a lot of time, baby. You know what I mean? That's just not a lot of time still to have here. So not a lot of power can be gained after like Oceanus. it feels, because I don't know, Morning Fields, you kind of only get like 1 or 2 boons maybe offered, and when you have the Onion, subtract one of those boons, right? You kind of just hope to get the right hammer, and you hope you get a hammer even offered, so you just gotta prage, for sure. Preserved Hope would be interesting there, I think, because it would restore health, but when you have the pin on, I don't know how much it really matters. Been able to keep the cat Death Defiance there, which is lucky. You're debating the antler here? Oh my god. For those that might not know, White Antler is the Artemis keepsake. It gives you 30% passive crit chance for everything. However, it sets your max health to 30. It cannot be increased either from 30, no matter what you do after that point. You are simply stuck with it, and that is that. Wild shit. So, yeah, I mean, you might have to consider taking it, though, if you want to beat the timer, you know? No balls, no win kind of situation, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, you can't just like pray that it somehow works. So what's making us crit here again? There was something from Artemis, I remember. I don't remember which boon was actually taken from Artemis, though. Because we're seeing some crits. Crits deal triple damage and therefore are quite important for dealing a lot of damage quickly. Lethal Snare. So that's the one where enemies in your cast have some percentage chance of getting crit, basically, from your attacks, I believe, right? Can anyone confirm that? I think that's it. So there's really not much you're probably looking for here at this point. There's lots of like little things, but the major components of this, 13%, okay, thank you. The major components here were definitely Hair Attack Boon. Storm Ring was definitely really nice, probably not even required though, but it helps knock off the rebukes so that you can actually ding-dong to enemies faster. Storm Ring is just kind of like a nice cast to DPS as well. And then just some boons from Hephaestus. So, Mint Condition and Trusty Shield. And then you just pray that the hammers behave. And I don't know. These might be like the best in slot hammers. I'm not really sure. And there's really not much to say about the express route. So a lot of people will ask things like, why skip the dad chamber because the timer pauses? And it has to do with weights and enemy weights in the games. And it works the same in Hades 2 as it did in 1, as far as I understand. So enemies, the chunkier they are, the more health they are, the harder they are, which is just simply determined by the programming of the game. The fewer enemies you will get in a chamber, if that makes sense. So like these thugs that are armored too. If you get a lot of those enemies, you won't have too many enemies overall. Instead, they will just show you a lot of chunkier enemies. If you're not encountering armored enemies, it's usually a bad sign at the start. So like right here, because these enemies aren't armored, it probably means that you're going to wind up with a large amount of enemies overall in the chamber. I'm listening to I can kind of hear Boded, but I don't think y'all can because it's too quiet. Boded had some great commentary that I already heard for the run. Go check it out. Go actually watch him play it because he talks about what he's doing and like the thought process and everything. Your favorite 2 hammers? God, I freaking hate Hell Splitter. Like, I recognize it can be good in situations, but I just hate it. We gotta get the Giga Chop out there. So yeah, there's really, I don't know, like Tartarus, you just clear the enemies as quick as possible, try not to get yourself murdered. You don't take any side chambers because it's just gonna eat up time, and time is like really precious here. So there's not a whole lot else behind what's going on here. I mean, there's lots of like micro plays going on that to try to save time here, but just trying to like gather up all the enemies and try to grab the revenants. As you can see, God, it's just so hard though. It's just so hard, and mid condition's already off. Crazy. So okay, sorry, I did not fully. Oh no, you're right. I never finished my thought process. So enemies have weight. So if you take Dad's chamber, it'll add to your location count, and the higher your location count, the more weight you're going to get for enemies. So you might get more enemies, or you might get tougher enemies, essentially. And the bonuses from Hades and Tartarus just aren't great, truthfully, right? They just don't, most of them just don't really do that much, especially at a very high fear run like this. Life Tax does nothing. Old Grudge would probably be very strong. Might not get it offered, though. That's probably the best thing that you could get, if I were to guess. Because it'll hit Chronos for 20%. Is that worth the potential time delay because you're going to get more enemies? I don't know. All right, here we go. It's Crow. No, mint condition is on at the start. probably, yeah, I was going to say, trying to apply hitch to everything. Really good pattern to get the suck job here. Basically as often as possible. But yeah, that was really quick already.
Clear satyrs. Oh, I don't have lovers barriers. Oh my god. I kind of forgot about that. I was like, where
Okay, so, wow, was that a block? Can you just block the charge? Yeah, you can actually see the block popping up there. And you can, was that a miss or a block? I don't even know. Either way, you can see the block there. Wow, the blocks are insane. The blocks are off the charts here. It also allows, so normally you would need to, like, you know, dash out of it or dash through it or something like that. It's the blocking that really takes us to the next level. It makes Boated the goated. There you go.
he only spawned one.
Only got one enemy spawn there, probably because there were so many flags already spawned in the chamber. If there's already ads in the room when you go into the next part of the Chronos fight, then you might not get as many ads. Like, the game doesn't probably... It's a safety mechanism to make sure you don't get, like, lag spikes because there's so many ads or something, I'm going to guess. Not sure. Holy crap. Minute 40. A minute 40 still to go.
We have Pin. We have our DD. We have Trusty. I'm gonna chill.
Nice. Got the close by spot there. Obviously, yeah, I mean, there's no way you can block that thing, right? They might have even removed the ability to iframe through it, if I were to guess.
I'm gonna be sick. I'm literally gonna vomit.
Bodit said he's going to vomit.
Go, buddy. Pin.
Holy shit, that's scary. Well, we still have the pin, so you get a whole 10 seconds here. So, yeah, so just stayed in it. The armor actually soaked that giant hit there, so that didn't even matter. But the time has it. There it is. The pin goes off. You're invulnerable for 10 seconds, and it's already over. Holy shit.
Oh my god. No.
It's over. 55 fear Dunsey. Oh, you can still iframe it? Oh, babe.
I can show the previous run history.
With a minute to spare, too. Crazy.
I just beat 55.
Crazy. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Okay, we pause there. We pause there. Wow. Wow, look at the attack damage on it, too. Insane. Absolutely insane. World first, baby. World first by Bodit. It was a very cool run. Very happy that Bodit allowed us to watch it. We can talk about it. If y'all got questions about it, you know, like, feel free to ask here or ask on Bodit's video, even better, you know? If you're curious. I mean, I'll try. I don't know that much about the meta stuff still, but I can answer questions generally about the game, maybe. But please go support Bodit. Check out his video. I have it for chat here, and I'll have it in the description for YouTube here as well. Show some love over to Bodit. Also, subscribe to Bodit's channel if you actually like Hades content, because Bodit is incredibly good at Hades, obviously, but posts a lot of content. So, yeah. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Bodit, for allowing us to watch it. It was fun, right? That was fun. That's really cool. A new era has begun.